coming soon from all three of us.
Great, thanks, Chad.
You bet.
So what you've seen here at the VMworld session is this virtual data center operating system notion, the notion that that virtualization is the way that you run all your apps. VMs are the management unit, and we've shown you today ways that we're working together to enable both vNetwork and vStorage, ways that we can keep that model and benefit from hardware advances on both sides in the network and storage stacks. So let's talk about what the next thing is. Chad showed on a slide we've been using for about 6 months, that shows the stages of virtualization. And I kind of talked about this a little bit of nebulous last stage called liberation. And what I define liberation as is eliminating all of the vestiges of the physical world that don't make sense in a virtualized data center. And one of those is when you're running multi-tier applications and you're running the different tiers in virtual machines, why are you managing those as separate systems? You're running one service. Those are building block components of the service. They should be managed as one service. It's a vestige of the physical world because years ago you were running each of the pieces on a separate physical server with a different operating system. So we call this notion of grouping VMs together VApps. Okay? So it's essentially taking a collection of VMs and packaging them up together to reduce complexity, and you manage them as one service. You also manage infrastructure services associated with it. A lot of aspects of networks, for example, and storage are around policy associated with the VMs, as Steve showed earlier. So the infrastructure settings want to be part of this VApp collection as well, whether we're talking about a virtual appliance, meaning the software running in a VM itself, or we're talking about our new vService integration with partners, where we're making the network infrastructure or the storage infrastructure aware of the VMs as a unit of management. Either one of those is perfectly valid here, and you package them up together as one entity. You provision it as one entity, power it on as one entity, take snapshots, backups, etc. It's really the right view for managing and achieving SLAs. Another advance around liberation or eliminating boundaries is the data center boundary. I can't tell you how many times I've had large customers talk to me about being able to move workloads between multiple data centers. Why does all my virtual infrastructure capabilities into the data center boundary? And that's what our vCloud initiative is about, treating resources between data centers or treating cloud resources as first-class citizens in this virtual data center operating system environment. So be able to move workloads between data centers, whether it's for availability, scale, load balancing, performance, or being able to use resources and take advantage of resource pools in the cloud. And what you'll especially see here is us thinking about being able to migrate virtual workloads, being able to move them between data centers when you need more capacity or you want to preemptively avoid a disaster, or being able to take advantage when you're out of capacity in a safe, secure way, a hosting provider. And most importantly, do this for any workload. One of the key differences where we talk about VMs as being the unit of management from what a lot of other folks are talking about around cloud computing is this isn't about a new application stack or a new set of tools that you have to run at the hosting provider, like the software as a service kind of model. This is about being able to run any workload that you're running today by encapsulating it in a VM. So this is really cloud computing on your own terms.
So the one thing that I would add into this, just so you can see EMC's strategic thinking on this, and I know it's certainly Cisco's as well, is we want to make it simple that you could drop in VM-ready appliances onto this infrastructure, right? Where it's the right choice. You know, we want to give the choice to the customer of how you want to deploy, and it will vary case by case. But you can know this. Every EMC team that makes a software product, and we are a multi-billion-dollar-a-year ISV, although we're known as a hardware company. For those of you that are EMC software customers, thank you again also for that success. But we are starting to hear more and more, look, you guys have got to ship these as VMs, right? They're available that way internally, and all of the VMware and EMC, SEs and technology consultants run around with USB hard drives with virtual flavors of Control Center and virtual flavors of smarts. And now all the product teams are going, you know what, we should really take the lead of the Solera virtual appliance and the Avamar virtual appliance and actually ship the product that way optionally for the customer.